All right, welcome back to Eyes Open Media. It's November 14th, 2017. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so this is my second time attempting to make this video. The first time, I don't know what happened. The whole computer just shut off and just froze. So I had to restart the computer. Anyways, let's get started. One article, and then we're going to look at the overview of the cryptos, and then I'll be back on the main channel to give you guys all the other articles and the what you guys had to say on Facebook. Okay. So let's get started with this one article here. The government of the Kurdistan confirms its respect for the decisions of the Federal Court of the Unity of Iraq. Okay, now you guys already know the background of this. The federal court, they came out and said that the referendums were unconstitutional, and they said that they were not for the referendums, but for the unity of Iraq. And then recently they came out and said that we really can't say that the referendums were unconstitutional, right? And now they come out and say that they need to cancel the referendums and make sure that Iraq is unified, right? So the Kurdistan government is just saying, you know what, we're going to respect the decision of the federal court. We're not going to fight this anymore. Barzani, President Barzani has stepped down. We have the Prime Minister Barzani in now. So we're just gonna deal with the consequences of what happened. We're going to cancel it, the referendums, and we're going to unify and start the dialogue for the oil and gas law in Article 140 and the 17% in the budget with the Iraqi government, and just go forward from there. Okay, so that's basically what's going on now, and you can see the time frame is very scripted, right? Because here we are a couple of days from Rawa being liberated, and now in the Kurdistan region at this time want to also be unified with Iraq again, right? So the timing is so scripted. We know that this is out of a Hollywood movie script, but it is what it is. So like I told you guys, I'm going to be patient, the rest of this year, and then I'm done with them, with their Hollywood scripts. I'm not going to be playing their game any longer. So I'm hoping by 1118 we do see Iraq return to the international stage, and everybody around the world praising Iraq for making that courageous move back onto the international stage. Okay, and they're gonna need the help from the Kurdistan region to do that. And so if they're not in cohesence and unified, then how can you go international, right? So that's one of the reasons why it was a big deal to get Barzani out of there, so they could become unified. I told you guys that the Prime Minister Barzani is more likable, and also he deals with things a lot better than the President Barzani, right? The father. Okay, so let's go here. It says on Tuesday, the Kurdistan region expressed its respect for the Supreme Federal Court's interpretation of Article 1 of the Constitution, stressing that this should be the basis for starting a comprehensive national dialogue to resolve the constitutional disputes as a whole. Okay. So, and then of course they have all these other things here. The issues as the federal court issued on 6/11/2017, blah, 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 blah. The federal court's ministers on 5/11/2017. And they also talk about the Constitution guarantees the unity of Iraq. And that's what the body was saying as well. The Constitution guarantees the unity of Iraq. We must stay unified. And I already told them they don't have to go independent. They can just segregate. You know what I mean? Like, they just have segregation. You know what I mean? You go over here, the Kurds stay over this side, Sunnis over this side, Shiites over this side, and we stay unified, but just segregated. You know what I mean? There's no problem with that. I don't know if you guys can't get along. It's like a marriage, right? If you can't get along with your wife, at some point you're gonna have to separate, because it's gonna then be turn toxic. If you can't fix the problem, if you can't pray about the problem, if the problem won't go away, if you can't find solutions for it, then you got to separate. You know what I mean? Because all it's doing is draining your energy, and it's making you it's just a toxic environment for you, your wife, and your family, right? So it's the same thing here. If Iraq can't be unified, because of a Sunni Kurds and Shiite title, then you can just separate. You don't have to go independent, but you can just separate each other and be unified that way. So, and I think that's what's going to happen in the future. But right now they want to come together so they can launch this international, this internationalism, right, for Iraq. Let me see here. It says, confirmation of the commitment of the Kurdistan region always to seek the solution of differences between the federal authorities and the region through constitutional and legal ways. Okay. And it also says, and from our position is known to welcome all initiatives in this direction, especially the initiative of Sistani and some Iraqi figures and friendly countries of the Iraqi people on the return of the Constitution to solve differences. In this sense, we respect the interpretation of the first article of the Constitution by the federal Supreme Court. Okay. And remember, we had Hakeem. Remember, Hakeem was saying, look, there's differences in the country, but if we just follow the Constitution, there shouldn't be any problems, because this is what we all agreed on. This is why we have this Constitution, right? So we just follow the Constitution and stop trying to make our own laws and our own rules and our own things, we'll be fine. All we have to do is just follow the ruling and the letters of the Constitution, and this is what was agreed upon for the country of Iraq, and we wouldn't have any problems. But we have problems because there's people that want to put their own agenda out there and not go with the rule of law of the Constitution, right? So that's what's going on. We got people out there that are trying to gain power or be corrupted, and so they want to go away from the Constitution of Iraq so they can become king or dictator or this corrupt person or whatever, and so that's what the fighting happens in that way. And it's not just one person. It could be a group of people, right? They don't want to follow the Constitution. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about Iraq. They've been infiltrated by Iranians or Americans or Saudis or Russians or whatever the case may be. They've been bought out. That's basically what I'm trying to say, right? So you got people in the GOI that have been bought out, by other countries to basically be a cancer inside of that country. Which is sad, that people would actually do that. But it is what it is. Okay, so it says here that the federal Supreme Court confirmed in a statement on the 6th of this month an explanation of the first article of the Iraqi Constitution has concluded that this article and other related constitutional articles on the unity of Iraq and Article 109 of the Constitution, all federal authorities and to maintain this unit. In its decision, the federal Supreme Court ruled that there is no provision in the Constitution that allows for the separation of any of its components provided for in Article 116 of the Constitution under its provision. Okay, so basically saying that you can't, under the constitutional laws, you cannot go independent, regardless what the government does. And this is why we kept telling these guys, independence is going to be almost nearly impossible, right? You can vote on it, which is good, because that's what we needed. It was a sacrifice that I believe that we needed to see, and I thought we were going to see that in 2015, and we didn't. But we did see it this year, and that's why I was very, very happy to see that, okay? Because I know what's coming, because we saw that sacrifice. But they're saying that you can't go independent. But what I'm saying is that instead of going independent, just topple the government, right? Because if you topple the government, if the government's treating you bad, then you topple it. That's what you're supposed to do, right? So you had Sauder people out, and millions of Sauder's people out there in Tahrir Square and Baghdad capital, and they're just, shouting for reforms. And I'm like, and then at one point we saw them storm into the green zone, but they didn't do much. They did a little bit of destruction, but they could have done a lot more. You know what I mean? But they did a little bit. They kicked some, toilet paper over, some cheap napkins, some cheap paper, they kicked all the cheap stuff over. You know what I mean? And then maybe they took some drinks of water and stuff, and then they came out, right? So, and then they had a little bit of fun in there. They were taking pictures and selfies and dancing around. But Then they went back to reality of begging and for reforms and seeing no jobs and no opportunities, right? So when you have this type of government that's been stealing from you and doing all this stuff from you, you have to overtake that. You can't just sit there and complain or cry out, because people who steal don't care if you're crying. You know what I mean? Because they're stealing from you. You know, if they stop stealing from you, then they don't get that pleasure of stealing, right? When somebody steals or likes stealing, is because it's some type of pleasure that they get from it, right? So when you begging somebody not to steal, that doesn't stop them from stealing. Knocking them out, that stops them from stealing, right? You come here again, this gun's gonna blow your head off. That stops them from stealing, right? You see somebody stealing and you leg sweep them and they hit the ground, and then you say, "What are you doing?" You come in here again, I'm gonna knock you out. That stops people from stealing, right? So that's what these countries have to do, man. If you have a tyrannical government, man, and they're stealing from you and they're not supporting you like they're supposed to, the government's supposed to serve the people, not the government, not the people serving the government, right? So if that's the case, then you have to overtake the government, right? So Abadi's lucky that he's even alive right now, because remember, Abadi even said that I would give up I'm going to go for reforms even if it costs me my life, right? So we're seeing the reforms now, but it didn't cost Abadi his life. Abadi's life should have been on the line, right? But it has never really been on. I mean, there has been a couple of times where he was, they quote unquote, almost, they tried to kill him. Somebody shot at him or tried to bum rush him when he was in those, areas that have been that were getting liberated from Daesh back last spring. I remember we had a couple articles on that, right? But other than that, Abadi would usually come out and say that wasn't true. I was never shot at. My armed vehicle wasn't shot at, blah, 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 right? So, it is what it is. But the fact that Maliki and Abadi and all these characters in the government are, can sleep at night and be able to go to and from everywhere, and the citizens still have nothing. It's just tells you that the citizens love pain, and if you love pain, then you get what you deserve. Because I guarantee you, Abadi doesn't like pain. That's why he's rich, right? Maliki doesn't like pain. That's why he's rich. People who don't like pain change immediately, right? They don't sit there and complain and complain and complain and complain about things. They don't sit there and beg and beg. They get up, they make their moves, and they get things done to not have that pain any longer, not have that stress any longer, right? So when the citizens are complaining over and over again for years and years, it's because they deep down inside, they like the pain. They like pain. They like the suffering. Because anybody who doesn't like that will do the opposite, right? And will do it doesn't matter if you come from dirt, come from nothing, if you were stripped from everything, right? If you don't like something, you will set your mind and you will set your whole mindset to where things will just happen into your life, right? That's how powerful we are as human beings. You can set your mindset, change your mindset, and things will start happening. Opportunities will start to come your way. We've seen a lot of people go from nothing to something because they changed their mindset, right? So yeah, and then they took advantage of it, because changing your mindset is one thing, but taking advantage of it is another thing, right? Because people can change their mindset and say, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, or I'm going to be positive every day, but yet still live in a world and 3, 4, 5 years later, still live in a world where it's negative and stuff like that. Is because they didn't take advantage of the opportunities. People bring opportunities to them and they deny them and stuff like that. And so they stay in the same spot, even though their mindset has changed, right? So I think that's the article there. It says the court sets the date of the 20th of this month as a date to consider the proceedings of the referendum in the Kherson region, confirming that it is waiting for the return of notice from the defiant regent. Okay, so they've set a date on the 20th. So the 20th of November, which is coming up in 6 days, they will go through the proceedings of the referendums to basically probably cancel them, right? To go through and say they're going to be canceled, okay? And I think the Kherson region will be okay with that as well. All right, so that's the article, guys and girls, and a little bit of me going, off on my own, my own thing, my own thoughts and things like that. I would have loved to seen the citizens be a lot more aggressive, but it is what it is, man. It definitely cost us on waiting on this investment with the citizens, right? The citizens not being aggressive enough, citizens not complying with the banks fast enough. Citizens not wanting to bring in the 3.0. A lot of stuff cost us the delays after delays after delays. So the citizens have a big part to do in this, as well. But the government is definitely to blame, right? We're not going to blame citizens. You know what I mean? It's definitely the GOI members. Okay, so let's finish it off here with the cryptos, and then I'm gonna take a break, and then I'll be right back on the main channel with the rest of the news of the day. Okay, so everything's green now. Bitcoin was just red, now it's green. Okay, so Bitcoin 6580. Not sure if the bottom is in yet, guys. I'm not sure if 5500 was the bottom. I'm hoping it is. We could go back down to about 59, 5800. I don't know. Okay, but right now everything looks okay. You know what I mean? We look okay for right now. Okay, but hopefully the bottom is in, and we just can, and then we start to move up, right? Back to 7,500, then back to then to 9,000. Now of course we have to go through 8,000 first. That will be a new high, and then 9,000, and then 10,000 by January 1. I'm hoping. Okay, so Ethereum here breaking out, as you guys can see, up 5%. I told you guys look for 330. We need to break 330. We did break it, so hopefully we continue higher than that. Litecoin breaking out here as well, trying to break out, I guess, up 3% here. It's got to get past this 64 level. It does have a nice cup and handle pattern going on it. As you can see, this high didn't break this high, and so now you have the handle. So we have a handle there. So you have a cup and handle pattern here with and here's your handle, and we're waiting on that breakout to begin. And I think if we do break that, we probably will see a run to 100. We could probably see that. I know Cliff High is saying that there's going to be a Litecoin surprise before Christmas. Okay. I'm guessing that's going to be some type of massive breaking news. It could be that Litecoin has now become a privacy coin, or it could be that Litecoin will be starting smart contracts on the Lightning Network, or not Litecoin, but the Lightning Network will start receiving smart contracts for ICOs, and that means that you can now start doing ICOs on the Lightning Network with smart contracts, and that means you have to buy up a bunch of Litecoin like you do for Ethereum when you do ICOs, right? You got to buy the Ethereum. You will then start to be buying Litecoin, right? And Litecoin is way faster than Ethereum, in my opinion. So you'll be able to use Litecoin for ICO smart contracts or whatever the case may be. Smart contracts, ICOs, things like that. You would need to buy Litecoin to be able to use the Lightning Network, right? So, and then maybe Bitcoin will come on and play in on that as well in the future. And then you might be able to buy Bitcoin for your ICOs or your smart contracts and stuff like that. So watch out for that. That might be coming before the new year. That'd be awesome. Dash going up higher here, 429. Monero's down a little bit. NEO up a little bit. Let's see here. Qtum up a little bit here. Miso go up a little bit. List up nicely, 8%. EOS booming, 24%. BitConnect up 1%. Stellar Lumen up 5%. Wave 17. Populous 17. Stratus 14. Artcoin back up over $3. Look how fast that was, right? It was almost back to like 250 and back to $3 like that. It keeps doing that over and over again. That's you guys can make money on that. Salt 382 is going to be a nice year for Salt in the next 12 months for Salt. Vertcoin $4 might be a good time to grab some Vert. Maybe, I don't know. I gotta check the charts. 10x $1.67. Wow, a lot of these coins that are like $1 will probably be like, at this time next year, will probably be like 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. Crazy. Let's see here. Maybe some might even go 100x. Wow, Zcoin up 44%. Power Ledger up. I never heard of this one. Power Ledger up 47%. Wow, cool. Monaco coin down a little bit there. What else do we have here? I think that's it. Okay. Of course, let me check. I'm not sure why Cloakcoin's not in the top 100. I think maybe because it needs to go back to around $10, I think, to get back in there. Let's see where Cloakcoin is at. Well, Cloakcoin's down. It's at $5. Yeah, because it only has 5 million circulation, it's gonna need to at least be over $10 to actually get into the top 100. Okay, so that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Look for me tomorrow, and not sure if Crypto Gamer has a video coming out, but if he does, I might just wait till tomorrow to post it. So, other than that, I think we're good to go. Hextra Coin is doing well. It's at like 14, 15 bucks right now. I don't talk about the ICO platforms anymore because you got a bunch of police officers now in the crypto space, and and they're policing all of this stuff, trying to take all these things down. So I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to steer people the wrong way while those guys are doing what they're doing, right? So, but Hextra Coin is doing well. Eve Connect went down. The site went down. So I don't know what's going on with that. They said it'll be right back up. But I don't know about that. We'll see on that. What else? BitConnect's still going. We don't know when that's going to come down. We know what Cliff High said. He said December 8th they're gonna start having problems paying people. But I do say that that doesn't mean that the site has to go down. The site can still last for another 6 months. They just have to change the way they pay people. They can just say, well, you'll receive your money within 48 hours, and that fixes the problem for at least 6 months. So you know what I mean. So that's how I would do it. What else? What's the other one? Regal Coin. Regal Coin has unlocked everybody's accounts, and so it's doing good. I think it's sitting around. Let's go to Regal Coin so I don't have to guess here. It's Rec Coin, right? Rec is the symbol. Yeah, there it is. So Rec's the symbol. Let's see, it's actually come down a lot. So and the reason why it's come down is because they unlocked a lot of people's accounts. So when people's accounts were unlocked, people were now able to sell some of their coins and take some profits, right? So that's what happened. So that's why. So that's understandable, right? And that's what Champagne Crypto said was going to happen too. He says we're going to see a nice dip, from probably 70 to 50, and then we're going to go right back to 70. So Regal Coin might be a nice buy right now. Also, what's the other one? What's the other platform? Regal, BitConnect, Hextra Coin, Eve Connect. Electra went down. They scammed everybody. I think I lost like $200 in that one. They took our money and ran with some fake stuff. What else? Is there anything else? I'm thinking I'm missing one, but I can't remember right now. So either way, I think I am missing one, but it's all good. Oh yeah, Electronium. It was just an ICO, it's not a platform though. But Electronium is at 0.38, and hopefully Cliff High can help them fix their problems. And yeah, I told you guys it was going to go from 0.025 back to 5 cents. I think it did do that yesterday, and now it's people did do some selling, so that's fine. Okay, so and I'm hoping they pump the crap out of this one to like $1 or $2, and then people can and then once they open the wallets, people can sell at that price up really high. That's it for me. I'll talk to you guys later. Eyes open. Bye. Peace out.